Yo, what's up guys? Today we're talking about Linux Mint Gaming, and this is going to be one of the easiest gaming setups on any Linux distro. Whether you're on NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, it doesn't matter, whatever CPU, GPU you use, this is going to be universal. And by the way, if you're watching it from the future, Linux Mint 22.3 is the latest version as of now, and it's going to work for your system as well. So this is kind of evergreen unless something drastically changes. So I'm going to show you gaming on Steam, gaming from the Epic Game Store on Heroic. So without wasting further time, let's dive right in. All right, welcome back to Linux Mint, and here we are. So the first thing that you would want to do before beginning to setting up your system for gaming is update your computer. So go to this little nubbin over here, and this is the update manager for Linux Mint. And from here, you're going to want to update everything, right? And another thing before updating, what you have to do is go to the edit button and click on software sources. It'll ask you for the password, enter it, and then you're going to change your mirrors. So the main mirror for Linux Mint Xena and the base mirror, which is the base of Ubuntu, Noble Numbat, I think that's the name. You're going to change these two mirrors to be the fastest mirrors that are available for you. Now, the very first thing, if you are on NVIDIA, you have to install the NVIDIA drivers, right? So you have to go to the start menu and search for driver. So driver manager, this is what's going to look for drivers if you have something which needs external drivers, not only limited to NVIDIA graphics cards. It's going to look for it and it's going to give it to you. Now, I have the latest NVIDIA driver 595 version installed already. By default, you're going to have the Nouveau driver, so it's your job to actually switch it from Nouveau to the proprietary NVIDIA drivers. You click on the version you want to, ideally the latest version, unless you have some kind of trouble with it, and then hit apply. Now, once you hit apply, it's going to download everything from the internet from NVIDIA servers onto your computer. Give it some time, let it download, restart the system, and after a clean restart, you're going to have those NVIDIA modules loaded into your kernel, ready for use. You can also check it from the terminal, by the way. Go into the terminal and type NVIDIA-SMI. If you type NVIDIA-SMI, it's going to show you the driver version, the CUDA version, what kind of graphics card you have. So NVIDIA RTX 4060 mobile, that's what I have on my laptop. And also you're going to probably check if you have the 32-bit drivers as well. So for that, you're going to install the libNVIDIA GL 595 drivers. So this number is going to match the driver number for your installation. If you have the 595 drivers installed, you will install these. Now, I think you have to check this because already out of the box, the 32-bit drivers were installed for me. So once I hit sudo apt install for this, it said it was already installed. So basically, this is like a safety net. It should be installed, but it's good to check. Another thing which you would want to do before setting up gaming is actually go ahead and install the 32-bit dependencies. Go ahead and go to the start menu and go to our software manager. Now, once inside software manager, you're going to see Steam as probably the very second card, or sometimes it changes. Doesn't really matter. If you don't see it from here, search it from here. You type Steam, hit enter, and Steam is going to be here. Now, I downloaded Steam already and I had it set up because it takes a lot of time to do that, just getting all the updates and stuff. So I had it already downloaded onto my computer. But the very important thing is you're going to download the system package. Okay, the system package or the native Debian package for Linux Mint is what is actually needed. Do not download the Flatpak. If you do, you're going to have to deal with Flatseal, which is going to have you set the permissions for that Flatpak, and also it messes around with controllers and stuff. It's not a great time. It's best to use the native package for Steam. And by the way, if you see, there is a little corner icon for NVIDIA graphics cards. Now, if you click on it, it shows you the different profiles. So for NVIDIA, I have it set to NVIDIA performance mode, which is basically the NVIDIA GPU being active all the time. Because we're on a laptop, what you would normally want to do is set it to switch to NVIDIA on demand. So when you're playing a game, it would detect that you're inside a game and it would enable the NVIDIA GPU, or otherwise it would go back to using the Intel iGPU, which saves power, which gives better battery life for your laptop. But if you're on a computer, I don't think it's going to give you this option because you're already taking your output or display from the graphics card. So you're going to be on the performance mode basically all the time. And by the way, if you are facing issues with launching Steam from the software manager, you could also launch Steam from the terminal. Now, the benefit of launching Steam from the terminal is you actually get to see all the different error logs. So you want to just type in Steam, hit enter, and it will show you the different error logs for Steam, right? If it's not loading up, if it's not working, you have an option to basically copy paste the error logs and put them into ChatGPT, ask Google or your Linux nerd friend to solve it for you. So that's a pretty handy way, because otherwise if you launch it from the start menu and nothing pops up, you're gonna have a hard time telling why it didn't work. But from the terminal, you basically have a log of whatever is happening on Steam, so you're good to debug the issue if something happens. Now that we're in my library, I can see Steam, it looks pretty good, and all of the titles work out of the box, mostly because unless you have something with anti-cheat, like the latest Modern Warfares from Call of Duty, they will not work on Linux because the developers chose not to, but most of the anti-cheat, BattlEye, Easy Anti-Cheat, they are supported on Linux. So it's up to the developers, and you probably won't be playing any competitive modern titles on Linux, but for every single player title out there, be it a AAA, AA, single A, it doesn't really matter. You are going to play all of these games. Most of these games, I think, apart from Call of Duty Modern Warfare for me, they do work. Now, the first thing you're going to do when you open up Steam is actually click on the Steam icon and go to settings. Once inside settings, you're going to come down, you're going to choose compatibility. Now, compatibility is going to be enabled for all Steam titles, and by compatibility, I mean Proton, the layer, the software that translates the game's Windows calls, DirectX calls, into Vulkan calls for Linux, into other system calls that Linux understands. The game doesn't even understand that it's running not on Windows. It believes it's on Windows using DirectX, but it's actually running on Linux using Vulkan. Now, the default Proton version is going to be Proton Experimental, and this is going to be fine for most of the times. However, if you have some games which do not work with Proton Experimental, if you have some older games which do require a very specific version of Proton, and for that, you can change Proton version either from here, or you can change it on a per game basis. Actually, for a single game not working, change it for that game. Probably go to this gear icon and you go to properties, and inside properties, you click on compatibility and then force the use of a specific Steam Play compatibility tool. You click on this icon, and instead of Proton hotfix, let's just say go down Proton 10.0-4. That's something which you could do in case a game doesn't work with the latest Proton version. Now, I have a game up for you. So, I mean, we're all waiting to see a game launch on Steam, right? So let's go ahead. I have Ollie Ollie World downloaded. It's one of my favorite games ever. It requires a controller, and I'm using the 8BitDo Ultimate 2C wired controller. I love wired, don't ask me why. And this is the Black Myth Wukong edition, which is one of my favorite versions of the 8BitDo controller. So let's go ahead and hit play, and we're gonna see how it performs on Linux. And there we go. Like that, we're in the game. It's working flawlessly, and this is going to be your experience for the vast majority of games on Linux. This is not 2019, 2020, this is 2026, and Linux is the superior platform for playing most games, unless you're running competitive games, which, you know, anti-cheat, that's a major blocker on Linux. So apart from that, you are going to get a better experience with Linux rather than Windows, because Windows has so much overhead running unnecessary applications. Linux doesn't really have that. And this is Ollie Ollie World. It doesn't really have a ton of graphics settings. It has nothing apart from the screen mode and the resolution. VSync, I like to enable VSync as well. Let's go back and let's jump into the game. Let's do one track. I love this foresty area, Chuck's Lake House Skate Park. So let's go ahead and we're gonna skip the dialogue and just get into gaming. And this is running flawless. As you can see, if no one would have told me this was on Linux, I would never have understood. This is so good, and I failed while talking. That's okay, it's on me, it's not on you guys for distracting me. I distracted myself, and I should be penalized for it. I'm talking too much, am I? There we go. Finally, we're on the rail, and we're doing a backslide grind, kick flip. We can do a lot of things. This game is very easy to play, but extremely hard to master. There you go. I messed up a little bit over there, but that's all good. We're in the game still. And there it is. There we go. It's definitely not my highest score, but that was cool. It definitely was. It definitely was. Moving on from Steam gaming, which is basically the standard bread and butter for Linux gamers nowadays, we're going to move on to something called Heroic. Now, Heroic is actually used to play games from the Epic Game Store. Now, apart from Epic Game Store, you also have other storefronts that you can add. So if you log in, you can add Epic Games, GOG, and even Amazon. Now, logging in is a very simple method. You either log in through your Steam, use your Xbox account, PlayStation Network, Nintendo account. So here I have logged in with my personal account, and you can click on Go to Library to basically fetch all of your games at once. It didn't work for some reason. Oh yeah, there you go. So these are all the free games I have amassed over the years. I think I bought one single game from Epic, but other than that, most of these are games which I obtained for free. And basically what you do is, for example, let's say Control. So you click on Control and it will give you the install info, the system requirements for the game, and you basically click on Install. Once you click on Install, it's going to give you the installation path, so you can change this from here. Let's close out of that, and it's going to show you how much space is available, what's going to be available after the install, and also you get to choose the wine settings. So this is the wine prefix, and the wine version, it's going to be the GE Proton latest. This is the only wine version that we have installed on our system, so this is what it gives us. If we had other wine systems installed on our system, it would also be added to this list. So you hit install, you wait for the game to download, and then once you download it, basically you hit play, and that's it. That's as simple as running a game from Steam. Now, once we're done with Heroic Games Launcher, we have another one which I don't tend to use a lot these days, but this was one of my favorite ways to play games on Linux during 2021, 2022. So this is Lutris. Inside Lutris, you can connect your Steam library. It has to be public. I think your profile has to be public for that. You can play EA games. You can connect the Epic Game Store from here, so you can log in as well. And it would actually download the Epic Game Store launcher. If you want to connect the Epic Game Store, it would install this using Wine. So as you can see, it says it will install the latest version of EGS as well as Ubisoft Connect for compatibility with Ubisoft games. It doesn't launch with EGS on startup. So basically, it gives you all of the pertinent information that you would want to if you want to play EA games, Ubisoft games, or connect to the Epic Game Store. You can also add games from here. Let's say, for example, you have a folder where you have the setup files for the game. So you click on install a Windows game from an executable. Basically click on this, enter a game's name, XYZ, and then the installer preset is going to be Windows 10 by default, locale system. And once you hit install, it would basically prepare the installation for the game. So it would ask you to give the installation directory if you want to create a desktop shortcut, have a Steam shortcut created so you don't have to come into Lutris to play the game. You can always just go to Steam and then play your game from there. So you hit continue, and once you hit continue, it would ask you to enter the location for the setup file. So you click the three dots, and if you had a game downloaded, let's say for example inside downloads, so you would go ahead into that folder, select the setup file, double click on the setup file, and then hit install. And once that has been installed, basically an entry would appear in Lutris. So over here you would see an entry for a game. You right click on it, or you go down below, and there's going to be a few options. You click on them and you click on configure. Once you click on configure, go ahead and look for the actual executable file of the game that you got after the game was installed. So you go ahead and change the executable from the installer to the exe file that you got after the install, and then you hit play, and it's going to be seamless from there. And if you wanted to manage your runners, basically you can change the Steam or Wine versions from here. So you can click on this gear icon to configure the Wine versions. As you can see, it is using GE Proton latest. So it picked it up from Heroic. It also has Proton Experimental. So whatever Proton versions or GE Proton versions you have on your system, it's going to pick all of those. Okay, and it's going to give you a list with all of those. Now, speaking of Proton, you actually have a very handy tool that you can use to manage your Proton versions in the game. So let's go ahead into our start menu. Let's search ProtonUp-Qt. You can basically install this from the software center. So go to the software manager, search for ProtonUp, and you have ProtonUp-Qt. This is a flat pack, and you would install this on your computer, and this is what you would get. Now, inside here, you can install different versions of GE Proton, normal Proton from Valve, or even Wine GE, even though I believe those are discontinued right now. So you could install whatever you liked from inside here. Basically, it would ask you to choose an application. So Steam, Lutris Flatpak, Heroic, Wine, or Proton. So from here, if you say Steam, and you can add a version, so give it a few seconds, and it's going to show you a list of compatibility tools that you can download. So if you click on GE Proton, Proton Cache OS, let's go with Proton Cache OS, and the latest version is 11, right? Once you click on install, it's going to download the Cache OS Proton 11 onto your computer and add it to the list of Proton that is available inside Steam. So as you can see, it started download right now. It takes a little bit of time to get the process going. And once it's downloaded, you basically have to open up Steam. If your Steam had been running in the background, you close it, you quit it completely, and then you run Steam again. So just wait for a few seconds for this to complete download. And there you go. We have Proton Cache OS over here. So let's minimize this. Let's go ahead and open up Steam from the application launcher. And inside Steam, you should see under the list of compatibility tools another version of Proton added, which is the Proton Cache OS that we just installed right now. Give it a few seconds for Steam to launch. And there we go. Once we're inside Steam, actually, let's go to the Steam button, come down to settings. And once we're inside settings, click on compatibility. And the default compatibility is going to be Proton Experimental. So click on this list. And as you can see, we do have Proton Cache OS over here as well. I think that is more or less a complete gaming guide for Linux, and I'm very happy, guys, to have made this video. Linux Mint is one of the easiest operating systems to work with, whether you're installing NVIDIA drivers, setting up Steam, playing games through Heroic, Epic Games Launcher, even using bottles. I didn't really show bottles because I never use bottles, but it's actually very easy to set up gaming on Linux Mint, and this is one of the best operating systems to get into gaming if you have an NVIDIA card. If you're on AMD or Intel graphics cards, you should look for something with a more recent kernel version, or if you can, just update the kernel version of Linux Mint to a more later version if that's available. If you have the Edge ISO of Linux Mint, you can do that. So I think with that, we can come to the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this guide. It really took a lot of effort to make it, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.